Games are fun. Sometimes. When I like them. By fun, I mean games where the developers allowed their creative freedoms to run free, resulting in an incredible, unique game that I can spend hours at a time on. I have a set few games that I genuinely enjoy, even if I've already played through them fully. I feel like I can always go back and play through them again and still not be bored of them. Listening to the music, witnessing the attention to detail in the art, seeing through the lines of code into the deeper story of the game is what makes them all the more enjoyable. In this category, 3 specific games stand out to me. While one may not apply to everything I mentioned above, I still appreciate the uniqueness of it and the encouraged community participation. Nevertheless, all 3 hold a place in my heart for a variety of different reasons. I should warn that I will be going deep into the gameplay and story of each, so if you want to play them for yourself, maybe hold off this video. All games are linked in the description of this video, no affiliate BS. I wasted 3 years of my life playing this. For good reason. ADOFAI and Ice, or ADOFAI as I will be referring to it, is advertised as a one-key rhythm game where you maneuver 2 planets along a set of tiles. Now, putting aside the obvious jokes, haha, balls, this caught my attention immediately as a unique control gimmick that I hadn't seen in a rhythm game before, immediately making me want to try it. You start in the base game going through levels 1 to 6, each progressing in difficulty and teaching you new patterns and rhythms that you will need as to advance to further levels. ADOFAI immediately gives you optional achievements, from trying to complete these levels at faster speeds to getting 100% accuracy on each. After completing the 6 main levels, 6 extra bonus levels then unlock, featuring an even higher difficulty and more complex pattern. But the base levels aren't my main focus here. Like most rhythm games, ADOFAI has a level editor, allowing the community to create their own levels to whatever music they want. It should be noted that the developers of ADOFAI require users to either use songs from already verified artists or contact the artist directly for permission, allowing them and future creators to use their songs for ADOFAI levels. At least this is how it used to be. A lot of people have honestly started ignoring it. I don't encourage anything. This is merely just a disclaimer. The issue is, when you give this creativity to a community as crazed as rhythm gamers, they tend to grab it by the neck and sprint. And sprint they did, because Jesus Christ, they made masterpieces. Hell, even the devs were confused as to how people were able to create stuff like this at first. The title of a one-button rhythm game quickly became a suggestion as people started creating levels that needed over 12 keys at a time to play properly. In the older days, levels were typically made by one person doing the charting, which is laying the tiles and the patterns to follow the music, and another person doing the VFX, adding decorations like colors, moving objects, and effects. Eventually, they launched this out of the window, and we've seen teams of like 20 people coming together to work their magic on massive projects. Thank you, Team Vega. These people have been able to use these tools at their disposal to create levels so unbelievably stunning, even I was taken aback when I saw them. Like, take a look at Arch, for example, made by only 3 people. Yet, it is still widely considered one of the best looking levels ever made. The VFX is so insanely detailed, most high-end PCs can't even open the file. I mean, come on! There are numerous levels like this. This isn't like a one-hit scenario. People have been doing this for so long, multiple years at this point. It's unbelievable. I mean, even past VFX, people have also made levels so technical, even looking at them can make you dizzy. One of my favorite examples of this is Sync to the Deep Sea World, where the 2 drops feature a pattern where you have to hit 3 keys with one hand, 2 keys with the next, and then 1 key with the first hand after. And I mean, another example is Multi-Arm, which... What the fuck? Now, even with my extensive history in the game, I haven't been able to gain the ability that others have. So instead of showing you my awful gameplay and achievements, I'll introduce you to someone that has become a pretty notable figure in the community. Desnick has a long history with various rhythm games. Coming to ADOFAI, she learned very quickly how to play and improve.
Well, I started playing because it was something I found fun, and then I realized I wanted to do big things, and then I realized I could do those things. Imagine seeing something that everyone thinks is impossible, and you just know it isn't impossible, and you gain a hunger to prove that it isn't. It was proof for me that the things I've done weren't entirely for nothing. My first major milestone in the game was completing I was the first person outside of South Korea to beat a level of that caliber, and it was a major moment in the general community because of it. In terms of my hardest completion so far, it's a level called Rado, or Reluctantly Accepting Temporary Over-Exhaustion. It basically flattens every other completion I've done in the game.
And I think that's for good reason. Do I think ADOFAI is for everyone? Not a chance. Do I think you should try it anyway? Absolutely. It's cheap and available on Steam, and it'll give you at least a few hours of gameplay if you don't want to progress into the community-made levels. Stories can make or break a game, at least in my opinion. Some say great gameplay can redeem it. Night in the Woods was published in 2017 through Finji Studios after being developed by Infinite Fall and Secret Lab. Starting out as a Kickstarter, it quadrupled its original goal, almost a sign of how good this game was going to be. 2 companion games were released before this in 2013 and 2014 respectively, Longest Night and Lost Constellation. Both games were received very well and gave us an idea for how Night in the Woods would work and function as a game, along with the art direction. You follow the fresh college dropout May, returning to her hometown of Possum Springs following the closure of their mines, causing an economic stagnation in the area. Once meeting her old friends and finding out that another was missing, May spends the following days exploring Possum Springs and hanging out with her friends. But we also follow her experiencing these strange and vivid dreams that seem to get more and more ethereal with each one. And at some point there's just an arm on the floor. What do you do when you find a severed arm on the floor? Just poke at it with a stick. Come on, that's obvious. During the town's annual Harfest, that took me 15 takes, festival, May witnesses a teenager being kidnapped by a shadowy figure. She assumes it's a ghost and her friends are skeptical, but they decide to help her investigate. And after some investigating, they come across this group of weird, shadowy figures and they're people. Boring. It turns out they're killing the dude that left the arm out in the street, and safe to say it's a little violent. My god. Alas, May and her friends get discovered watching, they run, and May gets shot at with a firearm, and ends up falling off of a cliff and landing into a coma. Not really the best scenario, I don't think. Rescued by churchgoers, she wakes up and gets taken back home, and she rests to improve her health. Is what I would say if she was smart, but she decides to wander through an empty town where she knows that these people with weapons are hunting her down to go to her friend's apartment. But it's fine because she lives, and instead she decides to rest there. They get pizza, everything is great. Is what I... What the fuck is wrong with you? She gets to confront the same person she saw during the kidnapping, and it seems like she plans to fight them somehow. Luckily, her friends come in and shoot the dude with a crossbow, and as a group, they go into the woods and into the cave where the, I guess, cults are? I mean, it sounds like a cult. They have a discussion with them about disasters that the town has suffered through, and how these supposed sacrifices have stopped them. This is also where the group find out that their old friend Casey was one of these. That is an awful way to figure out, fucking hell. They're encouraged to join them in their mission, but are allowed to leave with a fair warning from the cult. Once going back up the elevator though, May gets grabbed by the cult member that was shot with the crossbow, trying to pull her back down. Eventually, the group breaks her free and the elevator breaks and falls back down. This presumably traps the cult underground, so W, I guess. W. See, I've explained the whole story and plot of the game, but why did I decide to choose to cover it? For me, the general direction is great, I love the story, the art looks beautiful, and the music is the perfect blend of simple yet fitting. But the main reason is how the game affected me personally, and how it made me think about myself after playing through it. I've always felt like I've never had a clear path in my life, and this game reminds me of that feeling. Dropping out of college and going back home with no set direction on what to do gave me a scary reminder of how I felt my life looked at the time. It also made me think critically about my mental health issues. May's dreams remind me of my hallucinations in a way, the sort of things that I see. Alongside friendships and reconnecting, I've been pretty lonely for most of my life. Up until then, I'd never found a group of people I could really connect with. I honestly thought I'd never get to college with how my educational route was looking. But now I have a reduced offer for the top UK university for games industry studies, I'm expected to achieve the highest possible grade for my college work, and I left high school passing every exam. I have groups of people that understand me and vice versa. I found my communities that I enjoy being in. Since then, I've been able to turn my life around completely and work towards being better, and replaying this game reminds me of how far I've come since then. May can be a bitch though sometimes. 10 out of 10 game. I consider Metroidvanias to be boring and exhausting to play through. Then I found a game that was not boring and not exhausting to play through. Nine Souls released in 2024 under Taiwanese indie studio Red Candle Games, known for games like Detention and Devotion. Do you see why I was confused while researching these people? Nine Souls was on my Steam wishlist for quite a while, even though I thought it wouldn't be that fun of a playthrough. I liked the look of the art direction from the clips that I had seen. It wasn't until a great friend of mine, thanks Noah, bought the game for me when I got to have the full experience. And I was blown away, like, just look at this. It's stunning. Everything, the scenery, the shaders, the music, the depth that they went into for this game is nothing less than insanely admirable. Yi is a soul, 1 of 10, abandoned to die by his mentor and fellow soul once he found out that a contagious supervirus by the name of Qianhuo was eradicating Solarians as a species. Whilst he was putting his full effort in to plan and develop a cure for them, he discovered that his mentor, Aigong, was the one to accidentally synthesize the virus, trying to discover immortality. The other souls, for whatever reason, decided to hide this from Yi, and once he found out, damn, he was pissed. And that's kind of the main reason why they killed him, to be honest. Yet, a planet called Fuzang, which carries large amounts of energy, kept him alive over centuries. And once woken up by an ape man, their terms for humans, racist pricks, called Xuan Xuan, he resided disguised in Peach Blossom Village, an area where Solarians were keeping humans to breed as livestock. Every so often, there is a ceremony where people are selected to offer their brains to enter a higher plane of life. Yi ends up saving Xuan Xuan from this, revealing his identity. He then proceeds to enter the undergrounds of New Kunlun to hunt his fellow souls and exact revenge for what they did. If it wasn't obvious, the whole brain offering ceremony, it was just to gather energy from humans to power their vessels. Yi stays in the Four Seasons Pavilion, defended by his personal artificial intelligence system Abacus, or Ruyi. You go through all the regions of New Kunlun, finding the respective souls who run each area and kill them off to gather their soul seals, which guarantee their place in the Soul Council. And by the way, these killings are kind of brutal, I'm just gonna run you through a few right now. Yeah. Yi learns about the flaws of his Eternal Cauldron project after meeting Lady Ethereal, another Soul on the council and the lead programmer of the project. He discovered that once Solarians left the Soulscape, they became insane and hostile to others. For the record, Yi's whole cure development thing, that is the Eternal Cauldron project. The reason they're harvesting the brains is because they need a lot of power for it. And I guess this was their best idea, somehow? Hello? What were we thinking? Eventually, Yi defeats all the souls and gathers 8 soul seals to then confront Aigong. At the start of the fight, she steals all of the seals that you have collected. Prick. Now, this fight actually has 2 endings depending on what you did in the game. If you don't want to know them yet, just skip to this time on the screen. In the normal ending, Yi defeats Aigong, reclaiming all of the soul seals and taking control of New Kunlun, activating the Eternal Cauldron project and returning to Penglai, Solarian's home planet. The remaining Solarians are still in stasis, and it is unknown if there will be a cure developed or not by the end of the game. In the true ending, after Yi deepens his connection with Xuan Xuan and the other 8 men, he works with Kuafu to free them back to Earth. Yi confronts the now infected Aigong, who fuses with the primordial roots in a final attempt to spread the Tianhua virus across the entirety of New Kunlun. Yi uses the rhizomatic bomb arrow, sacrificing himself to destroy New Kunlun and end the virus for good. We then see the 8 men return to Earth with Kuafu, Shenong, and Xuan Xuan, who now carries Yi's mystic nymph as a way to remember him. If you didn't want the spoilers, hi, welcome back. Really, I don't have much to say about this game other than how stunning it looks. I didn't really find a personal connection to it or any communities that I could interact with all too much, but that doesn't downplay how much I enjoyed it as a game. The way Red Candle was able to combine the aspects of Eastern mythology and cyberpunk in a way that blends so well and looks so good, I swear I can't get over it. If there's any game I'd recommend here, it'd be this one. It's the most popular out of the rest of them and likely the most enjoyable for the majority of people who would watch this. There's so much power scaling and exploring to do with a great story to follow it. All of these games are great in their own way, and really the entire point of this video for the viewers was to give them some new games to play if they were looking, which I hope I did well. This video was developed my final for my college esports course, and realistically this project decides whether I get into university to continue my studies. If you have the time and energy after listening to my annoying voice, please feel free to leave your thoughts of the whole thing in the comments. There's a chance I may even include you in my evaluation for my work. This video was also to show how indie developers could make great games, sometimes even better than AAA studios. Giving them the creative freedom and opportunity is all they need to develop something incredible. Team Cherry have proved this multiple times, same with Red Candle games. I love being able to play games developed by smaller studios and enjoy what they put all of their passion towards. It feels rewarding in a way. All games mentioned will have their Steam pages linked in the description, no affiliate stuff or whatever like I mentioned before. This video isn't even monetized, I just wanted to make a video so I could talk about some of my favorite game experiences, and I'm glad I got the opportunity. And I'm glad you stuck around to watch it. It means a lot to me. I want to do more stuff like this, but honestly, with everything going on in my life, it's difficult. I can promise that I'll still try, though. You can leave now.